Hello, everyone. That was seamless.
Hi.
Hello.
And people can hear you. Yay.
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 Hi, people.
Hi,
people.
people who can hear us.
Hi, people who
And
have...
hi, non-people as well. Like, I don't want to be exclusionary here.
Yes,
Yeah,
and all
someone
hail
watching it with
lizard
their
people
guinea
as
pig
well.
Yeah. Oh.
People,
Okay.
lizards, and those who love them.
Sure. Okay. I don't know why this... Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay.
Hey, it's been 30 seconds and we're already into it. Let's just love it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special live episode of A Matter of Fact about space.
Say it properly.
Space!
Guys.
The only show that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
And here
Wow.
you can get your Matter of Fact merch, your Matter of Fact sponsored protein powder.
Yeah, your cardboard cutout of Tim Curry. So, thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. So I can see Luna lurking in the chat. I believe you will be lurking for a little while, but welcome on in. Awesome Fox 42. Glad you like the starting tune. Welcome on in. Sammy, always good to see you. Luna again, who apparently isn't lurking. Never mind. Forget it. Alba, welcome on in. What's up, jerks? Love it. Vera, also welcome on in. Fantastic. Okay, that seems like those are our chat people for now. Hello, you may notice I'm joined by some special friends. With me tonight, I have three... Oh my god, Tex Unplugged is on the chat as well. Got a celebrity. Yes, with us tonight I have three very special friends / guests. First up, of course, we have Nummy Numbers.
It me, Nummy Numbers. I am 1/3 of the peach-scented deliciousness that is Booty Squad, along with the legends Joanna Wanna and Lazy Jane. We are on the Twitch, twitch.tv/BeautyBaySquad. So come join us for silly fun.
Thank you very much. Lux, there are some treats for you from Albert. If you say on record there are no lizard people. Lizard people? Lizard people.
There are no lizard people. There are no lizard people.
Fantastic.
They're all in
Have
France.
some
It's fine.
treats. The next person we have with us is, of course, Tex. Tex, you're on mute. It's not my headphones for once.
That's a very good point. Hi, I'm Tex. I stream on Tex Unplugged. I do a variety of stuff, including video games, TTRPGs, and live music streams. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. That was actually quite efficient, and I'm just panning out the promo time.
Fantastic. And last but not at all least, we have Lux.
Hello, everybody. I mean, you hopefully know me by now, and if not, you're in for a very unfortunate surprise, but sure. I don't stream anywhere yet. I'm glad to be here and excited to share fun facts about space. I was trying to think of some fun way to say that, and it just failed. So
Avoiding the obvious one.
Well,
Yeah, I was going to say, Twitch does say that you play GoldenEye 007.
well, yeah. I mean, that technically was the first thing I did technically play for the 8 minutes I did test stream that one time.
Cool. Okay, well, people still can go and follow you for stream in future.
Exactly. Which will be sooner than later, I hope.
Fantastic. That would be grand. So, just to do a quick intro. So, I'm a host. Oh, fuck me, running. I am your host.
Running, eh?
And I am a charity streamer for the organisation Roll Together, just ignoring everything that's going on apart from me talking.
Saying that to Lux is dangerous.
I mean, it's already gone off the rails, and we haven't even started. It's great.
Oh, God damn it.
Yes, Vera, touch big organ indeed.
Thank you for that callback.
And correct, Fox, as you know, I will turn anything into smut. So
I am a charity streamer for the organisation Roll Together. And this stream, we are raising money for the Climate Coalition to help with all the excellent work they do by providing a unified voice with which to drive positive action around climate change. So please consider donating. But before you do... So on normal streams, we allow donations with various stipulations to get me to sing songs or put on voices and generally make me look like an idiot. That I don't do that enough on my own, apparently. Those redeemed won't be working today, but instead we will be doing a giveaway of 5 gift subs. So for each £5 you donate using the link !donate, also found in the About section, we'll enter you into a prize draw to win a gift sub, part of which will also go to charity, so it's basically like you're donating twice. We'll be doing 2 lots of giveaways. The first one we take our midstream break, and the second one when we found out who our winner is. So, the aim of the game is simple. To bring the most interesting facts to the table, we will have 5 rounds, each with a different topic, and our contestants will each be charged with conveying their facts to us, and then you, the audience, get to vote on who you think was the most interesting. The most votes wins the round, and the best out of 5 rounds wins the game. The theme for our show tonight is space. So, without further ado, let's move on to round 1. Round 1 is physics, and the first up is Nummy.
It's me first.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, why? Alright then. Okay, so, my first fact. Obviously, the first thing that I did when I was looking for facts for this was to research facts about Uranus. And also facts about the 7th planet from the sun.
there it is.
So while I was looking for facts about Uranus, and I was reading all about Uranus, I found this fact that is actually surprisingly not anything to do with Uranus. It's actually about Saturn. It's probably quite disappointing that it's not about Uranus, but Saturn's also interesting. So Saturn, as you'll probably be aware, is the 2nd largest planet in our solar system after Jupiter, and one of 4 gas giants, the others being Jupiter and Neptune and Uranus. I'm going to stop saying Uranus now, probably.
You shouldn't.
I mean, I can continue if you'd like to.
Is this just ASMR for Lux? Uranus.
I mean, when you say it, Tex, yes.
When we think about the size of Saturn, Saturn is a very big planet. It's not the biggest in our solar system, as we've established. I think it's quite difficult to comprehend really the size of planets in our solar system. The size of the Earth in comparison to us is very difficult to grasp. We understand our size in proportion to it, how long it takes us to get from one place to another on the Earth. But if you think about it in terms of numbers, it's kind of mind-blowing. So the volume of the Earth is about 1.1 trillion kilometers cubed. It is big, very, very big. But in comparison to Jupiter, it's not that big. You can fit 1,300 Earths into Jupiter, that doesn't even compute to me. So Saturn, also massive, not quite as big. You can fit 763 Earths into Saturn, and that's about 80% of Jupiter in terms of volume. So if we think about the mass of the Earth, it's 5.97 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms, which makes no sense to me at all. In words, it's 5,970 billion metric tons, which again is
chunky.
It's very chunky. That's an enormous number, but not that big in comparison to Jupiter, because the mass of Jupiter is 318 times that.
Heckin' chunky boy.
He's a heckin' chonker.
Does Jupiter have a brother?
So Saturn in comparison, we would expect maybe, because Saturn is about 80% the volume of Jupiter, you might expect that it has a similar proportion in terms of mass. But actually it's only 33% the volume, so 95 times the mass of Earth. So why is there a discrepancy between the two things. Why is Saturn's mass so low, given its size? Because it's absolutely massive. And the reason for that is because of its density. Saturn actually has a very low density. It is the least dense planet in the solar system. The density is lower than Jupiter, even though they're both made out primarily of hydrogen and helium. The density is lower than Jupiter because Jupiter is a bigger planet, so it has a larger gravitational force, and there is greater compression acting on those gases, which is why there's a difference there. So why do we care about the density of Saturn and the fact that it is the least dense planet in the solar system? Well, if we think about it in terms of a material that we're familiar with as being very dense, so lead is an incredibly dense material. We know that because X-rays can't pass through it. It's used for protective clothing for that reason. The density of lead in numerical terms, it's 11.3 grams per centimeter cubed. If we think about the density of the Earth in comparison to that, the Earth is made of rock, and as we learned from Austin Powers, liquid hot magma. And the density of the Earth is about 5.5 grams per centimeter cubed, which is half the density of lead. Now, Jupiter is less dense even than that, which you would expect because it's made of gas. So the density of Jupiter is about 1.3 grams per centimeter cubed, so a quarter of the density of the Earth-ish. Now we're getting to the interesting part, because water has a density at 4 degrees Celsius of 1 gram per centimeter cubed. And it does vary depending on the temperature of the water, but at any temperature, the density of water is higher than the density of Saturn. Saturn's density is 0.687 grams per centimeter cubed. And so we arrive at the crux of the fact, which is that because it has a lower density than water, if you had a gigantic celestial bathtub that was filled with water and that was big enough for you to drop Saturn into, it would float.
Nice. I'm just imagining. Do you remember like Third Rock from the Sun, and they'd always have the graphics with the planets? I'm just seeing that. Just watch someone
Saturn
just dropping
bobbing
Saturn into a
just
bathtub.
bobbing in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just John Lithgow in the background,
Yeah. Followed by a guitar
doing what
string.
John Lithgow does.
Scrubbing.
Oh, okay. But important follow-up question though I have for you, Nemi, is if Saturn's going to take a bath salts, is it bubble bath? What kind of bath would it take?
Oh wow. Oh, I don't know. I think it would probably want something fizzy and bubbly and nice smelling and delicious.
Don't we all?
What would Saturn take into the bath? Would they be a book? Would they be watching someone's stream? Are they?
They would probably. I think they would probably be watching a Booty Squad stream,
which you can do on Twitch TV.
Twitch.tv.
Yeah, if you want to watch Booty Squad streams in the bath, which is a bit
like
weird,
Saturn would.
Whatever, be like Saturn, and go to Twitch.tv/Booty Squad.
So I see we've already gone into the myths and legends category already. Cool. All right.
I thought for a second you were being insulting, but realised that Booty Bay are legends, and that's
we are legends.
Yeah.
And we praise and hail.
I, for one, welcome our Booty Bay squad overlords.
Interesting.
Very good. That's what we
very
like
interesting you say that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I just love it when something preemptively proves a point, but we'll leave that for later.
No, it's fine. It probably won't even come up. Don't worry about it. So, thank you very much for that, Numi. Next up, we have Tex. Also, Numi, you've got some treats.
Hi. Physics facts. Okay. Have you ever wondered what happened if the sun just stopped existing?
Escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by
I'm assuming that's a yes. I'm assuming that's a normal thing that we think about on a day-to-day basis. Now, the obvious thing we know about is, the main thing that affects us day to day is the fact that light comes from the sun, and that light travels, from the sun through space to us. It takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So it means that when we're looking at the sun, we're not actually looking, the light that is reaching us that we can see through is actually, it's old light. It's the sun from 8 minutes 20 seconds ago. And that's because as fast as the speed of light is, which is 299,792,458 meters per second, space is fucking huge, right? That's a scientific term before anyone questions. So, it takes 8 minutes, 20 seconds for that to reach us. So that's why I'm to like. That's pretty straightforward. I think we're all familiar with that. However, obviously the sun has another significant effect on us, on planet Earth. Not something we think about so much from day to day, but it has a gravitational field that keeps the Earth in orbit. And that's what keeps us kind of rotating around and leads to days and all that kind of stuff. Not days, seasons. Earth rotates, look, orbits, thingy. You get the idea, right? And that's the impact that the sun's gravitational field has on us. Now, the thought that you'd have then that comes from how does gravity work would we notice if the sun disappeared because of the lack of gravitational field on planet Earth before we noticed that big ball in the skies disappeared? And the answer to that, weirdly, is no, because gravity is fucked up. Gravity, in contrary to what physicists had for quite a while theorized that gravity would just act instantaneously on things, gravity actually has a speed. You have gravitational waves that come out from the sun, and that has a speed. And fascinatingly, that speed is the same as the speed of light. Because it turns out that actually there is a limit to how fast things can move, and as far as scientists can work out, that limit is the speed of light. So waves like light, like gravity, are basically capped at a speed that nothing can go beyond, and that's central to Einstein's theory of general relativity. And it's been quite recently they've been able to actually measure the wave, the speed of gravitational waves, because it's apparently really difficult to do. But that's something that Einstein predicted in general relativity. So if you're planning on blowing up the sun or making it disappear, we will find out about lack of gravity at the same time as light.
So, what you're saying is we're floating into oblivion. It'll be dark, but it'll be kind of cool.
I mean, it's a good question on where we would go, because presumably the inertia would just carry on the Earth on whatever path it was at the exact point that gravity stopped acting on it, right?
Or would it just spin out massively? Like, what would happen to us? Would we just get flung off? Ooh, this is interesting. I'm now hypothesizing
we'll have
the
to hold on
carnival
to
ride.
Something, because otherwise we'll fly off into space.
Yes.
I mean, fair question, and it's probably one that we don't totally know the answer to, because
we don't plan on blowing up the sun anytime soon, I don't think.
No, it is hard. It's probably quite difficult to know exactly what impact the sun's gravity has on Earth's rotation and things. But I think Earth's rotation is mainly from its core, isn't it? So it'd probably still stay rotating.
Oh, it's from the molten solid. Yeah. Well,
So I think we would just carry on, but just in a straight line rather than in a circle, until presumably we crash into something.
Yeah, like in the intro to Third Rock from the Sun.
I haven't actually seen it, but yes.
Wait, have you never seen Third Rock from the Sun?
Tex, leave the stream immediately.
Too young.
Okay. No. I'm actually upset. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually a little upset. Not really. It's a great show, though. Jane Curtin, fantastic comedic actress. John Lithgow, very funny. French Stewart, what was her name? Oh, what was her name?
Kristen. Oh,
fuck,
what's this in?
Something. And then, of course, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is just become Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Wonder what happened to him.
The thing I said before. I don't know.
Kristen Johnston?
There it is. That's the name. Yeah, that's it. He was also in Austin Powers Goldmember, I think.
Yeah.
There we go. See? We can follow this to its natural, if absurd, conclusion. But yes, no, please go
No, I
ahead.
was
I'm
just going to say
talking
I
shit.
cannot contribute to these references at all. I'm well aware of the TV show, but I've no idea what these people have done since.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I still remember the salute, and I still remember talking to the big giant head, which turned out to be William Shatner. So, I hope that was nobody's fact later on. I'm sorry if it was.
I mean, spoilers
was
though for
spoilers,
me.
yeah.
There's no point in me going to watch it now.
Yeah, that's the whole series. The whole series is predicated on finding out that it's William Shatner.
Yeah, and now you've earned it. So
And that's what I do. It's what I do is I ruin things.
Well, that seems like a natural segue. Lux, it is now your fact.
Oh, it's my fact. Oh well. So, folks, I actually put a little tiny bit of work into this compared to the normal half-assedery I normally put into general parts of life, or the work that actually pays me. So I'm kind of excited for this first fact because it's a little bit weird. So I need to introduce you to the concept of, well, not concept. We know what stars are, but there are different kinds of stars. You've heard of white dwarfs, red dwarfs, supergiants that go supernova. You have all these different types of stars, but the ones I'm interested in are the supergiants, because these supergiants, and I'm going to keep saying supergiants because it's fun to say, they are, like the name says, one of the most massive celestial objects we have, because, I mean, it's in the name. Supergiant. They are up to 20,000 Kelvin hot, which is very hot. That's whatever it is in made up Fahrenheit. That's not a real temperature, but that's fine. But anyway, I'm going on a diatribe. These supergiants, like all stars, eventually will die out. And because they're supergiants, they die out in a very special way. They eventually can become what's called a neutron star. And a neutron star is essentially the collapsed core of the supergiant star. So basically imagine this big, massive celestial object now in a teeny, tiny, well, I say teeny tiny, relatively teeny tiny mass. So you're now looking at something that was very heavy. So, for example, it's because it's about 2 times 10 to the 30 kilogram is a solar mass. So just imagine that multiplied out the number of times. I don't do math. That's for number of people. It's a lot. So, save for black holes, they become the densest known object. So it's the densest known object that won't suck you in. Hey, other than me. Anyway, again, diatribe. These neutron stars, obviously, very compact, very dense. They cool off actually over time. So they start off very hot, but they do start to cool down, and they're just really, really neat things. They usually are not that big. Typically, the ones we know on average are around 10 kilometers radius, so 20 kilometers diameter. Really not that much. But because they are so dense, and because they're just unlike our friend Saturn, they have no wasted space with silly gases. If you were to take just a tablespoon of a neutron star, so, yay much, it would outweigh the entirety of humanity. And when I say entirety of humanity, I mean Homo sapiens, not just people on Earth now, humans ever to exist. Tablespoon of a neutron star.
Really thought you were going to say homosexuals then.
Well, some are. But yeah, that's my that is my fact, is that I'm a that a neutron star would that tablespoon possess the entire weight of humanity.
Fantastic.
So how heavy would that be?
Again, I told you I'm not a numbers person. I don't do the number addy.
Leave the maths to the straights.
Hold on, let me. That's it. You had to do the math. I'm busy. I'm busy doing gay shit. I mean, I could probably do the math. I don't know, but it's very, very much a lot. It's something like 300 million tons or some number that ridiculous. Like
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's not light.
What would you do if you had a tablespoon of this stuff? Also, like, how would you get a tablespoon of it? I'm trying to imagine, like,
very thinly.
just like, jumping onto it in a spacesuit and just like hacking out.
Well, I mean, that's
like when
the
you've got
thing
frozen ice cream. Like, I'm imagining that sort of level of difficulty.
Well, but you also got to think of it. You've got to have a pretty strong spoon too.
Nothing is more difficult than super frozen ice cream.
This is true.
I don't believe it.
Well, unless you dip it in a little bit of warm water.
Yes.
And then it's easy.
There you go. So there you go. Then that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we'll do.
Put
We'll just
water.
that Saturn the bath in.
Saturn's bath.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
It's all coming together.
The
lizard people are real.
The lizard people.
Not the lizards. Not the lizards. The lizards are a front.
The lizard to put up. The lizard's like, no, never suspect this.
Of course, if you call them the lizard, if you call them something else, the Smiths, oh no, fake. But lizards, too close. No, can't be. But it
seems legit.
Very good. Awesome. So those were some excellent facts. So, everyone, it is now time to vote. You have 2 of our English minutes with which to vote. You are able to choose between Nummy and Bobbing for Saturns. Are you going to vote for Tex and Illuminating Gravity? Or are you going to vote for Lux and his Density Spooning?
Okay, Density Spooning is the best name. I like Bobbing for Saturns, but I suppose that's the other thing to think about as well. Like, what are they too dense to do? Like, would they be too dense to get a degree? Probably. Well, I was going to say do GCSEs, but like, I suppose you probably don't know what they are.
See, I'm just imagining though, because if you're taking a tablespoon of something, theoretically you could then take a cup. You could take more. So, how much of a neutron star would you take if you could?
Just go into the grocers. How much are you looking for today?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Look, if there was a situation in which I could take bits of a neutron star, I'm taking as much as I can fucking carry. Like, which from your fact is like a tiny speck is probably about the amount I could carry.
Can I just ask just on the poll here, what's the distance of neutron?
Oh, that's so it was originally a teaspoon because that was what I thought your fact was.
Oh, but, it's tablespoon. I understand.
That's the shortening for cooking terms for tablespoon.
I understand. I was very confused because I was very confused as I indicated. I'm just gonna
I've
stop.
never known you to be confused, Lux.
Never. Just demure until I die. Oh goodness.
Interesting.
I'm just looking at these. I'm just watching these votes and realizing I'm gonna have fewer friends after this stream, but it's fine. It's fine. I
trust that these votes are anonymous, of course.
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. Just to be clear, I am not voting for anything, but yes. Interesting. Very good. Very good. Which reminds me, take a post-it note to keep track of the scores.
Oh, post-it notes. What? Do we say something about post-it notes? Oh gosh. Well, there it is.
And there it is. The winner of round 1 is Nummy Numbers with Saturn Can Float.
Thank you. Yay. Well, I'd like to thank Saturn. I'd like to thank
Uranus.
Uranus.
which means that if Saturn sat on Uranus,
okay,
you wouldn't really notice.
Yeah, but
okay.
Cool. And with that ending note, we're on to round 2. Film, TV, and media. And first up is Tex.
Cool. So we're going to be talking about wormholes, which is not a euphemism for anything, Lux, before you start. No, we're going to be talking about wormholes. And Kirby, I can hear a slight echo on your Discord from me talking. Thanks. Sorry, that was I don't know why. It's just very off-putting when you start hearing yourself talking back to yourself. All right, wormholes. Wormholes are cool. So wormholes are kind of classic, like bit of film media. For example, I think, because I didn't prep this, but off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Planet of the Apes. They go through a wormhole and they end up in a different point in time and space. Which I won't spoil how that film ends, in case you haven't seen a film from the 70s or something, or a Simpsons episode that does a spoof in musical form from the 90s. There's a twist. Anyway, so yeah, that's the whole concept of wormholes. They take you from one point in time space, and you go through them. Then they dump you out on another. It's a classic sci-fi trope. It's also just something that someone made up. It's quite cool. However, when I say it's something that someone made up, it's kind of a concept that existed in sci-fi. But in the 1930s, I want to say, there was a lot of work that was done around the same sort of time as Einstein, thinking about theory of relativity and what actually, like, the nature of the universe and time and space is. There are actually a lot of different configurations of how different bits of time space can interact with each other. So in terms of distortions of time space, the most famous one is a black hole, where you have something that's so dense, has such a strong gravitational pull that not even light has the energy to escape from it. And that is in itself a distortion of time space, which probably means weird things if you get sucked into a black hole, but you will also die straight away, so we won't find out what those weird things are. But that's not the only configuration. The other configurations, though, are a lot more theoretical. And that includes wormholes. So the idea that you can have a gravitational force that disrupts time space in a way that actually pulls two different parts together. And that is something that actually scientists have been kind of looking at different ways that can work. And wormholes are actually theoretically possible. I'm going to say there's a couple of caveats. Number one, you need quite a large amount of negative energy. And negative energy does exist, but it's weird and messy and difficult to control or understand too much of. But it theoretically exists. The other interesting caveat is that, because it's not that you need a lot just to make to bring two different bits of time space together, but you would also then have to make something big enough for humans to go through. However, there isn't the limits of what negative energy can do is greater than the energy required to be able to do that, which means that theoretically, and it's very, very unlikely, but theoretically, a wormhole could genuinely exist and could have someone go through it. The problem is wormholes would close immediately. Like, they would not be able to stay. You need an extraordinary amount of energy to keep that wormhole open against the force of gravity pulling it in. So you would be stuck. But you theoretically could go through them. It would just be a one-way trip.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I'm
Um,
restraining myself a lot from making any comment. Lux, go ahead. This is why you're here.
yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. Which, let's be honest, is the only reason. I just the phrase "exit only" is just in my head now, and I can't get it out. So, Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought because now I'm just thinking about that.
Probably
So
the other thing is I don't think there'd be a way to control where you go. It's time space, right? So it's theoretically possible that it's the same like space but different time. So you could time
wait, you're
travel
talking about the
wibbly
thing,
wobbly.
right?
Yeah,
Timey
or
wimey,
Jeremy Bearimy. Yeah.
that stuff.
So but I don't think you could control where you end up. So you couldn't just use it as a way to be like, I feel like going 100 years into the future and doing that. Like, it would just dump you out wherever. And the universe is massive and time is massive. So
what you're saying is Contact isn't a documentary.
I cannot comment on that being or not being a documentary. No further questions. It's okay, lizard person. I told them no.
It was a boking accident. Oh, which actually could potentially be a segue.
I was going to say, no, I do quite like that, just because obviously, depending on how fast we end up travelling, there are bits of the universe that we'll never be able to travel to, no matter how fast we go, because it's gone too far away. So, wormholes being able to go potentially anywhere at some particular time.
Yeah, I guess the problem is that's not much use unless you can somehow relay that back.
I mean, if you only want to go one way, or only want to send someone some way, that's, not an issue.
Wait a minute. With Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos going into space, can we find a wormhole and just chuck them through?
You just get an ICB. I mean, you shoot them down on re-entry. That's how you do it.
I mean, okay, that's simpler, but
P.S. I'm not doing that, FBI. I'm not.
Yeah, the FBI are watching
Come
my
on.
channel.
We could send billionaires on a one-way trip to who knows where in time and space. Like,
oh God, oh, that'd be so good. Imagine Bezos getting the plague. Oh, I'd feel great.
The problem is, that as soon as they got out the other side of the wormhole, one of them would do that line of like, "It's not where we are, it's when we are," and the other one would shoot them.
I've lost the will to live.
Anyway, moving on to our next fact.
Shall we move on?
For film and TV and media, we have Lux.
Me again. So I've got a bit of a fun one for you, because it's something you all know about. You all know this. You use it all the time, but I guarantee you don't know what the name of it is. And I'm gonna tease it out a little bit here, but there's a lot of idiomatic things people say, a lot of things people quote, a lot of things that come up in common parlance. I happen to enjoy quoting certain animated shows that started in '89 in full property and still going today, even though it met its mediocrity long ago. I'm talking about The Simpsons, if y'all didn't know. And there's some fun stuff they do. We can quote them day in, day out, up, down, left, right. I often do. I did earlier, and it was joyous for everyone. But they're iconic, as we know. But they also take advantage and have become an example of a unique phenomenon. And I'm going to give you a different example first to see if you can kind of figure it out. I could easily say, Nummy and Tex and Lux, oh my. And it's going to bring a similar image into most people's head, I think. Or at least they'll know where it's from. One from The Simpsons, from the episode, and this is where we get into space, Deep Space Homer, where, if you recall, the scene in question is Kent Brockman delivering the news, saying he's about to cut over to a live shot inside the space station. He does so, there's an ant that goes across the screen. And naturally, he reacts very well and not poorly. Certainly doesn't create a sign that says "Hail Ants" that goes up above his corner. And he also certainly doesn't say the famous phrase, "I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords," which our friend Mr. Tex gave an example of with the Booty Squad earlier. And this little piece here, and the little example I was given by the lovely Tex without us knowing, is something called a snow clone. And yes, it is putting a name to that thing that you didn't know was a thing, but is a thing. So I'll give you the proper definition. It is a multi-use, but customizable, but instantly recognizable to most, time tested. It's either a misquote or a direct quote, but it evokes that feeling. And like with the Nami, Tex, and Lux, oh my, that's the Wizard of Oz, Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my. It's just something that gets into your psyche, into your vernacular. And that's one of the ones there. How many times have you seen or heard the line, "I, for one, welcome our new overlord"? And you know it, you know the reference, and it fits in anywhere. Again, we had one earlier. Again, thank you, Tex. I'm going to say that a couple of times because I love an example happening in front of my face.
I have to clarify this was unplanned.
It's entirely unplanned. That's why I'm just so chuffed about it. It's great. But this is one of those things that I didn't know it was a thing until I read that it was a thing. And then I realized there's a lot of these that we use in day to day. When someone says, orange is the new black, there's an example. It's X is the new Y. It evokes that feeling. It's another example of that. It's in space. No one can hear you. It's no one can hear you scream, but you can take the scream out, put whatever take space out, but it evokes the same thing. And that's your snow clone. So
keep your blank stays in blank.
Exactly. It can be exciting or death-defying, who knows? But now that you know what this is, you will not help but pick it up every time you hear it. And every time you say a phrase or every time it comes around, you're going to remember what a snow clone is. And you're going to hate me for it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. That's my fact.
That's a good fact. A+.
Okay. I don't know if that was.
Yeah, you did good. You did well.
No, I enjoyed it. There's a similar one that I read about at some point, which is I was slightly wondering if you're going down the line of like misquoted ones.
Mm-hmm.
So like in Star Wars, like Luke, I am your father. Like Vader doesn't say that, but the way the dialogue is, it would be really awkward to like quote the entire conversation.
Well, exactly.
As much as like certain people want to be like, oh, well, he didn't actually say that. Like, it's slightly misquoted to bring brevity.
But that's an example.
And I was
that's it.
Well, it's an example of both, which is
yeah. But that's it. You can only now see them. It's whatever that. Not confirmation bias. What's that one thing where like if you buy a blue car, all you see is blue cars? What's that? There's that phenomenon, but whatever. That's exactly it. You'll see these everywhere because it's what we do. I'm going to go down a bit of a linguistic nerd hole for a second. But a lot of there you go. A lot of language isn't about the letters themselves. It isn't about the word. It is about how it looks, where it is, how it forms. Like when you speed read, you don't read the word, you look at the shape of the word. And that's sort of where a lot of this goes is the words itself don't matter. It's how it's packaged, how it looks. It's that evocative feeling, which is why that blank and blank and blank, oh my, or in blank, no one can hear you blank. It evokes the same emotion, and that's hard to do because language is so variant and so changing. But if you have those moments where you're relaying back a feeling, that's where you get to that shape of word. That's where you get to the essence of wordness. And I know this is something that I'm just going down a hole down, but whatever.
I was thinking it sounds like the linguistic equivalent of the Kuleshov effect, but it seems pretty obvious that the Kuleshov effect is like two shots together, in a film. So two different shots cut together have more impact and meaning than the two individually, because the way they're kind of contrasted and juxtaposed.
Yep.
And it seems pretty obvious to say that exists in language, in the sense that language is more like the meaning of language isn't just the individual words, but the whole sentence, the structure and flow and rhythm and delivery and all of that like gives so much more meaning than just the individual words.
Exactly. And it's the same way. And I promise I will stop so we can get on to the next fact. I'm sorry, but it's the neatest thing that I got taught in literary theory class was think of the phrase mother, and how in most people's mind it's one way, because you don't ever hear married mother. You don't typically hear white mother. You hear single mother. You hear other forms of mother. Because the word mother itself is codified to typically be a white Christian married woman. And you don't realize that until you start to go, oh yeah, language is also very weirdly entrenched with stuff. So anyway, I'm going to stop now because I can go down this path a very long time. I'm muting my microphone. I love you all.
Very nice. It's going to be an interesting rest of the show. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that fact, Lux. And next up, we have Nami.
Hello, it's me again. Okay, so my fact has to do with video games. We all like them, we all play them, and there is one game in particular that this fact is concerning, and you may have heard of it even if you haven't played it, and the game is Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous is a space simulator in which you can explore our galaxy, the Milky Way, and you can also do things like mining and trading and combat and that kind of thing. This game's been around for a long time, so it's had quite a number of updates and lots of content added to it over the years. And one of the things that was added to it in Chapter 4 update in 2018 was a new mechanic in the game, which is called the Full Spectrum System Scanner, or FSS scanner. I want to say FFS scanner, but I'm going to try not to. And that allows you to scan unexplored star systems. And it lets you look for stellar bodies within planetary systems that you haven't yet explored. So as you zoom in and you isolate these signals, you can kind of see on your screen the points of interest as you narrow it down and you get closer in. But as well as seeing that, you also, as you're doing it, hear some sounds, which they become clearer and stronger the more accurately you pinpoint the location of the planet that you're scanning for. So it's kind of clicking sounds, whistling, sounds like bubbles, whooshing noises, these kind of strange sort of otherworldly sounds that you would expect to hear in a game about space. But the interesting thing about this is these sounds weren't the product of a person sitting at a computer inventing noises that they thought might sound cool. These are actual sounds from space. Now, you're probably thinking, how can there be sounds in space though? Because as we all know, space is a vacuum. So sound waves, which are vibrations of air molecules, can't travel through space because there isn't any air. But what can travel through space is radio waves. And these waves can be detected by receivers. And there is a receiver at the Halley Research Station, which is run by the British Antarctic Survey in Antarctica, obviously. And so that particular receiver, which is a very low frequency receiver, it can receive oscillating electric and magnetic fields, and they're not audible because they're not mechanical waves, but they can be processed into a sound wave which we can actually hear. So how did it end up in the game? The way it happened was that Nigel Meredith, who is a space weather researcher at BAS, he did an event in 2017 where he was discussing the sounds of space. And it just so happened that a guy called Matthew Florians, who is the lead audio designer for Frontier Developments, was at that event. And he ended up talking to Nigel Meredith, and between them, they agreed that they were going to incorporate the sounds into Elite Dangerous. So he gave them over 200 sound clips, which were then processed by Joe Hogan, who's the principal audio designer. He chopped bits out and he kind of assigned them to different types of planets that you can find in Elite Dangerous. So water planets or ice planets, gas giants, etc. And these sounds have actually been used for other things as well. So there is a project called Sounds of Space Project, which is part of what BAS do, and they've actually made a couple of albums which include so it's like instrument and voice and these sounds from space, and it's stuff that's come from Halley, but it's also stuff that's come from Cassini and Rosetta and the Voyager probes as well, and also from LIGO. So you can listen to these albums on Bandcamp should you be interested. It's the Sounds of Space Project, and you can also listen to there's a web page that they have on the website that breaks down all of the individual sounds and what actually creates them. So because obviously it's not detecting an ice planet or a gas giant, it's stuff either within our atmosphere or things that have an impact on the Earth's magnetosphere. And should you be interested, you can also watch a video it's nothing to do with BAS or Frontier, but it's just a dude who does Elite Dangerous guides on YouTube. ED Tutorials by Exidious is the channel, and he has a video where you can very clearly hear each of the sounds as in the game as it represents the different types of planets.
That's really cool. Thank you very much. Sorry. Yes. Oh, you're on mute again, Lux. I don't know if that's intentional. Thank you. Okay, cool. Never mind. Ignore me.
I've actually not come across Elite Dangerous. I was thinking a little bit about the Wilds, as you were talking about that, which is a phenomenal game. I have heard about this in relation to stars, I think in a less pronounced way, because apparently it's really useful as a way to get a sense of like the makeup. Because obviously, as you say, like different things affect what radio waves come out. So physicists actually can use like the sounds coming in off like celestial bodies to actually learn about the makeup, which is just fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of well, I start to think of Independence Day, and with the sound and the repeating and the cycling and how it went through SETI and how you have X-Files episodes devoted to all that kind of stuff. And the thing I always think of is, imagine you're just doing whatever and then you hear something from space, like properly, like intentional from space. What the fuck do you do? What do you do? Like, honestly, what would the fuck would you do? I
think there's actually
I don't
meant to be
know.
a process. I think you can Google it. I think you're meant to report it to SETI.
I mean,
and
I feel like Lux might not be a low frequency receiver if he knew that things were coming in from space.
Damn it, that was good though. That was very well done.
There was
Oh.
actually an instance of where some of the astronauts who were either I think it was the preparatory mission for the moon landing, and they were, I may be remembering this wrong, they were doing a spacewalk and they received something on their radio that they thought was a transmission that had come from space. And it turned out when they looked into it afterwards that it wasn't. It was kind of an interference between different radio units, because they at that point they were on the other side of the moon and they'd lost contact with Earth, and so they were basically they shit themselves because they thought they were getting some kind of alien transmission, but that turned out not to be the case.
Or did it?
Spooky.
Excellent.
It's fine,
It was
we just
lizard
did
people.
lizards.
Lizard
Just did
people.
lizards.
Yeah, I mean, they get everywhere. It's just.
I mean,
Oh.
who knows what's on the dark side of the moon? I don't want to say much about it because that might be someone's
Wait,
fact
but-
data.
But wait, isn't the moon made of cheese?
Only half of it.
But which half?
The delicious half.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Okay.
Oh, now
so,
I want cheese.
If only the other half was made of crackers, that'd be very efficient.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
that'd be very efficient.
No.
Well, no, because you'd
No,
have to
the other-
work around the equator, because that would be the only place you can get both cheese and crackers.
No. You need to have half cheese and then a little piece that's like a hot plate, so it's like a raclette. And then the other half can be whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't matter. It can be crackers, it can be vegetables, it can be a steak. You could half the fucking thing be a steak. Who cares?
A single steak.
Yeah, just one.
Mm.
Really big.
Oh.
With my moon raclette. That's right.
I feel like you could probably work that into quite a few songs, though. Raclette seems like it's a word that would rhyme well. Or at least it'd sound good in a song.
It
My
rhymed
pen.
with pipette? I don't know. I'm struggling to think of words
Raclette and pipette. There you go.
Yeah.
Two very common words.
that we use day to
My
day.
pet.
Yes. The
Upset.
vet. Colette. It's Colette. Colette the vet.
Yeah. Did something to
Uh,
my pet, so now I'm upset.
while having a tip top tet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we got wet. And round two. So for round two, TV and media. Will you vote for Tex's convenient wormholes? Will you vote for Lux's I welcome our snow clone cliches? Or will you vote for Nummy, it game from outer space? Vote now. I was proud of that one. Sorry.
Yeah. Ooh. When the moon is racletted, your spacesuit is wet, that's a party. Oh, that's good.
Oh.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, that's very good. Oh, no, I just want raclette.
I spelled
Yeah, now I'm
Sammy
just-
wrong. Never mind.
Well, Sammy could be Finnish. We don't know. We do know that Sammy isn't
Sammy.
Finnish, but
Hmm.
Sammy.
Oh.
Oh, this is how is it breaking out? Ooh, he's toit. He's very toit. It's toit like Toiger.
What accent is that?
It's
don't know.
Toit from Toit this Toiger is a gold member from Austin Powers and
Oh,
gold
okay.
member.
Yes. This is the Austin Powers stream, remember?
Yes. Which starred Kristen Johnson, who was in Third Rock from the Sun, which is near Uranus, and now we've all come back together.
Yeah. We're in Saturn's bathtub. Oh.
Beelzebub hole.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it was very tight for a moment there.
He's so tight. I can't believe it's not. No. See, I was just gonna say I can't believe it's not Toiter, but that's because I can't believe it's not butter, which is an example of what I just said. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hope for me. It's fine. That wasn't intentional, though. I swear to God, that wasn't intentional. That was just
It was
Again,
just an excellent demonstration
everywhere.
of your point.
Yeah. That's the thing. Now you pointed it out. We can't stop noticing it.
it's gonna be the blue car effect.
Excellent. And the winner of round two, with his can't believe it's not Toiter, is Snow Clones and Lux. Well done.
Can't believe it's not Toiter. That's the name of my autobiography. Anyway,
Thank you very much, Luna, for
thank
giving
you,
treats to
fans.
everyone, possibly in the world, potentially, or everyone watching the stream and everyone on the stream.
And literally everyone else in the world. Oh, she's done literally everyone else in the world, yeah.
Sadly, we can't sing it, otherwise we'll get a copyright strike. Okay. The next round that we have is round 3, science and technology. And unfortunately, oh no, not unfortunately. What am I saying? Sorry, I thought I'd put the person going straight after when they'd just gone, and it's not. It's in fact Lux next.
Yes, straight nothing now. Again, because in case anyone didn't know, just making sure it's very clear. Anyway, so this is probably something again you haven't thought of before. Oh, and I'm getting the same echo, Kirby, that texted that time. Sorry, thank you. And it's something I hadn't really thought of, but it's really cool. So again, I'm going to set the scene. And again, this could be a Simpsons example because everything could be. It was the Gemini 4 mission. So this is early days of being in space. And Ed White was the first American astronaut to attempt a spacewalk, so to attempt to leave the capsule and actually be in space, which was fine. Had fun, had tea, did whatever you do while you're in space. Probably know, piss your swimsuit is what I was going to say. I'm great. Anyway, when he got back though, couldn't close the door properly. Just, it wouldn't work. They had to really, that's the way of saying pull very, very hard. And it's because a very unique phenomenon happened, which we'll get to in a second. But before we get to the unique phenomenon that happened, you have to understand chemical bonding. So there's 4 types really of these types of bonds. Some you might be familiar with some of them. So ionic bonds, that's when 2 ions, so opposite charges get together, strongest of the bonds. Covalent bonds is when something has to share an electron. So it's where it's bound together by the use of that electron, but can be more easily broken apart. Hydrogen bonds, where hydrogen attracts the negative charged items. Again, only can happen with hydrogen. And then the weakest of the forces are what exist compose everything, are what are called van der Waals interactions. So these are intermolecular interactions that aren't part of this bonding. Like again, for example, you take a piece of plastic, a piece of metal. Those pieces inside that piece of iron, for example, aren't ionically bound to each other. They're the same. So they're have those van der Waals interaction. And what's neat about these van der Waals interaction is they just happen. There's no chemical process. There's no physical process. They just happen. They keep things together. And if no other if there's nothing else involved, you have a very easy way of disrupting these forces or changing these forces. So why am I saying all these things? Well, what happened in Gemini 4 was something called cold fusion, or you can call it cold welding, call it whatever you'd like. But what happens essentially is in a vacuum, like space is, when you have 2 pieces of the same material. So again, I'll use iron as an example. On Earth, you put, I'm going to use unintended props. You put 2 pieces of metal together, nothing happens, because this could have oils on it from my fingers. This could have oxide on it from being in the air. There are things in place that form different types of bonds. Doesn't work. But in space, in that vacuum, there isn't any of that oxide. There isn't any of those oils. There's nothing. There's only that pure metal. So what happens is they don't know that they're 2 pieces of metal. They have no idea. So you bring the 2 together, they become 1 piece. They cold fuse because the van der Waal forces just overlap, and that's it. They become inextricably linked. They become part of the exact same piece. So it is, in early space exploration, was a real concern, because you would have situations where you would need an inanimate carbon rod to help lock a door or to do the like, because you had this problem. Luckily now it isn't so much of an issue because we know what it is, but we're also using it in earthly applications because it's just a matter of having clean metals typically and in a vacuum. So there's a lot of very, very neat applications, especially when it comes to nanoelectronics and where we're going, kind of in terms of that. But yeah, really, really cool piece that in space, got to be careful with your metals.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one because I went down a total wormhole, and I just thought that was cool. Like it just the thought it's like very, I don't know. I just think it's neat. I just think they're neat. See, they just keep coming.
I can't even. Oh,
You did this, Kirby. You did this.
yes, I did. It's fine. I love it really.
Everything is fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm putting my props away. Also, Tex, are you deliberately not with sound, or are you muted and not knowing that you are?
Look, I forget that I'm muted. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just kind of thinking that, like, obviously, if you didn't know that was a thing, like the first time that happened, that must have been fucking weird. Like you just, because obviously you're just used to, you touch two things together and they come apart for the reasons that you say. Like, imagine if that was the first time you did that, they just stuck and you're like,
it's like some
yeah.
It's like it's some Odo Deep Space Nine changeling shit. Like, if we're gonna bring more space into it, it's just like, how do make cool.
It also means you potentially can't do any drumming with metal drumsticks in space.
No, I was also thinking you can't have any sword fights in space.
Well, depends on the.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to make sure
very
they're two
literal
different
rendering
metals.
of the Spice Girls song.
I'm not gonna lie, Tex. That song was in my head through a lot of this research. Because tonight is the night. I'll just leave it there.
Oh, it's in my brain. Get it out.
It definitely became one with you. Anyway.
Nami, please save us.
What form? Everything is fine.
By doing my fact, or do you want me to do something else?
Or just put me out of my misery. I don't mind. Whichever.
Okay, I will do another fact. All right. So my fact is, not to brag, but I can walk faster than the speed of light, which might not surprise you because I am amazing.
Yeah, it seems legit. I don't think I need to hear any more. But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
just
it. Next fact. Text.
There you go. That's it. Thank you very much. Okay. No. So obviously I have not been to space because
what?
yeah, I know, right? Even if I was smart enough, I would not, there's no way I would do any part of astronaut training that might make me throw up. So unfortunately, it has been ruled out, me going to space. So obviously this must mean that I must be able to move faster than the speed of light here on Earth. But how is this possible? I know, I'm so cool. Well, it's because there is a solar system here on Earth and actually not far away at all from where I am right now. So what is the solar system that I am talking about? Well, it was created by three scientists from the University of York, Dave Coulthard and Peter Thompson and Willie Herdman. And they were responsible, Willie and his friends were responsible for constructing a scale model of our solar system along part of Cycle Route 65 as a national cycling network, which is the stretch between York and Selby. Don't go to Selby. Just saying. So this thing was made basically over the course of 6 months. They used concrete sewer pipes as the plinth for the actual planet models, which they're made from shot blasted stainless steel. And then the sun is actually made from 2 fiberglass hemispheres that were manufactured for a septic tank. And they have all this kind of metal reinforcement inside, and then they were sort of stuck together and painted gold. And that was the sun. And so this project got put together and finished in 1999, and it was opened weirdly by the scientist and historian and also cycling enthusiast Adam Hart Davis, who is the dude who used to be on those really, really annoying Inland Revenue tax return adverts, if anybody remembers those. I'm showing my age there, aren't I? So the model itself, the whole model as it was originally made, is about 10 kilometers in length. But that is from the sun to Pluto. And as we all know, Pluto unfortunately got demoted from planet to dwarf planet in 2006. So the actual length of the model from the sun to the last planet in our solar system, Neptune, is 7.8 kilometers. So the scale of the model is 575,872,239 to 1. So every 100 meters along the track is equivalent to more than 57 million kilometers in space. So how do I walk faster than the speed of light? Well, as we established, the precise length of it is 7.8 kilometers, and the average human walking speed in kilometers per hour is around 5 kph, give or take, depending on which shoes I'm wearing. So it would take an hour and a half for me to walk the full length of the solar system, so to Neptune. And we've established the scale of the model already, and the equivalent speed of light on the route would be 1.87 kilometers per hour, which means that if I'm walking at 5 kph, I would be moving at more than 2.5 times the speed of light. And obviously it's a cycle route. As I mentioned, it's part of the National Cycling Network. So if you wanted to cycle it, you'd be moving even faster. It would take you around 18 kilometers per hour. You would get from the sun to Neptune in about 25 minutes, and you would be traveling at about 10 times the speed of light, which is really, really, really fast. So if you would like to experience that for yourself, then you can get yourself to that cycle route and you can do just that. Or you can do a different walk the solar system, a much shorter walk the solar system, which starts at York Astro Campus and ends on Campus East. And that is a much, much shorter route. I don't have the exact length, unfortunately, but you would be moving way, way, way faster because the scale is a lot more compact.
But who would want to go to Campus East? I say that there was nothing there when I was there. It's probably actually quite built up and quite nice now.
Yeah, there's loads there now.
So
it also didn't exist when I was there.
Back in my day.
In my day.
Also, I was shaking my head because I do remember the adverts and it was fucking annoying, not because I don't remember. Just want to clarify.
yeah, you still haven't seen Third Rock.
No, but I know random HMRC adverts, and isn't that the most important thing?
No.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Lux.
Okay.
So I like that. You're actually basically able to break the speed of light, which Tex already says is not possible, or at least.
But it is because I can.
Yeah,
I was going to say, yeah,
Tex is wrong.
Obviously, I mean the audience agreed. No, with me being wrong because they didn't vote for me. No, I should clarify when I say that. The obvious thing that I think is unsaid, because I don't think it needs saying, is Nami is far too cool for these rules. They apply to everything else. Everyone else, everything else in the universe, except for Nami, obviously.
Good
That's
save.
fair.
Good save.
Dig up, stupid.
Okay, so that was round 3, science and technology. Are we going to go with Lux's cold fusion? Are we going to go with Nummy's walking faster than light? Oh, hang on, sorry, we've missed a fact here. Apologies, I'm skipping ahead. Great. Doing well.
I was going to say, like, I was wondering what
are we
Kev
going
was
to go
going
with
to
our
do.
next fact? Text.
Sorry,
Incredible.
Tex.
Incredible.
We don't need to hear it, Tex. Just don't even bother.
Just give up. Give up now.
I mean, Nubby walking this fast in the speed of light is going to win anyway, but
Hey!
it text vote for me. Okay,
Wow.
so relevant to this, my next fact is in fact proof that beloved Oxventurer Corazon de Baena is in fact God. So as we've probably kind of alluded to a few times, we talk about space and how, you know, we kind of say space is a vacuum, but it's not. Like, space is full of stuff, like obviously planets, stars, you know, asteroid belts, like, you know, there's fuckloads of stuff out there. That means that space isn't just like an empty void. And even on a smaller level, you know, it's not just kind of big entities. There's obviously smaller things like asteroids, comets, all this kind of stuff like existing around in space. There's just a lot of gap between them. But even those gaps still has stuff in it. And that's kind of obvious when you think about it, because, you know, everything that exists in the solar system is made up of stuff. Stuff has a tendency to degrade and change over time, and that can lead to byproducts. So, for example, one of the things that we obviously know a lot about we know a lot about, you know, we know a lot about their existence in solar systems are stars. Stars obviously being, you know, balls of hydrogen and helium that do things and make light. That's the scientific explanation. That whole process leads to byproducts. So the hydrogen can bond with carbon in one of the ways that Lux mentioned earlier that I don't remember. And that substance kind of leaves stars, you know, as that you know, reactions happen. These are byproducts.
Star jizz. That's what it is. Star jizz.
Yeah, star jizz, right. You know, it's the byproduct of those reactions. This substance itself is actually essentially like grease-like substance. In the Milky Way, in our solar system, there is a grand total of, and I had to write this down, 11 billion trillion tons of grease. That's 11 with 33 zeros, apparently. That many tons that exists just in our solar system. Just someone just casting grease a lot. However, I will say though, the bad news, and I was about to say the bad news, Lux, not just aimed at Lux, but there's an obvious reason why I'm saying Lux. The bad news is that it's quite toxic, so it's sadly not something that astronauts can use as lube.
I was going to say, like, do we know what kind of grease it is? Is it like bacon lard, or are we talking goose fat, that kind of thing? Or
I imagine they could use it once.
That's been established.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to use. Well, you couldn't use it multiple times. Well, I don't know actually. I mean, that's a very good point. It is toxic. It's not a good idea to use it as lube. For some reason, scientists haven't really considered what would happen if they did.
Dear NASA, we need space fucking.
Which, you know, seems like an oversight on their part.
NASA, NASA, come on, it's right there in the title. Oh, there it is.
Oh no.
NASA.
Okay. Well, I've already done the intro for everyone else already, but for round 3, are we going to vote for Lux's cold fusion, Nummy's walking faster than light, or Tex's celestial grease? Yeah, please feel free to
I don't think that was the name we agreed on.
Starches.
Dodges.
I'm sorry.
Starches all the way.
There's like a word limit for how much I can fit into the polls, so Starches was just too long, I'm afraid.
A limit you can fit into the polls.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense, but it's just the way you said it makes it sound filthy.
Well, unless you're talking about people from Poland, then it makes sense.
Ah, true. Good point.
Yeah. That's down to
Oh.
personal preference. Oh, okay. Dear God.
Again, Kirby, this was your idea.
Yeah, sadly, this will be the last one of these that I'm doing. I'm now retiring from Twitch because I just can't compete with this anymore.
Oh gosh.
But it's not, Nummy. It's not. I'm a Yag.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I mean, I am a Yag, but just for however this camera goddamn is. There. For now, you can have it both ways, which I'm not used to doing.
Really?
Listen.
That just for me, Lux.
Oh, I'm a train wreck. Onho. That's what I prefer. Onho.
That sounds like a breakdown assistance service.
Interesting. I was thinking it sounds.
Does it?
It's
It
like
might do more if you're
OnStar, but it's
American,
Onho.
It's like
Yeah.
OnStar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just thought
Onho.
it sounded like a very derogatory thing to shout whilst getting someone to pull a cart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how would I use that? Excellent. Okay, well, the winner of round 3 is Nummy with Speed Walking at Light. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along for the first half of our show. We're going to go away and take a very quick break. We'll be back at 9 o'clock on the dot, hopefully. Hopefully see you back here for the second half and the
We hope to
first
see you back
giveaway.
here, Kirby. We hope to see you back here.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I think that might be a bit optimistic, Lux.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and see you back here very shortly. Hello, everyone. We are back. He said with a resigned resignation.
Very resigned. Hi everyone. We're happy
You're
to
so
see
happy
you
about
back.
it. Yeah, we're happy.
I
mean, I'm
am just
indifferent, but-
thrilled to be here.
Hi here.
Terrible
Oh,
joke. I
God.
appreciate it.
So, we have winners for the prize draw, and it is going to look like a fix. So, our first winner for a gift sub to this channel is Tex Unplugged. The second winner for a gift sub, who unfortunately can't be here right now, but however, hopefully is listening at least, is Lunamort. And the final winner for the gift sub, or at least the first 3 gift subs, is Sammy Kelsch. Well done, Sammy.
Yay.
For anyone
What
who
do I
is
do with
already
mine? I'm already
I was going
subbed.
to say, for anyone who's already subscribed to the channel, you are able to gift this to a person of your choice, or we can just gift it to a random person if you don't want to choose. That is fine. Yes, congrats me, Sammy Kelsch.
Okay, Vera's the first person I can see in chat that's not got a sub, so let's go Vera.
Okay, sure. Let me just make a note of that. Excellent. Fantastic. And I'll reach out to Luna later. Sammy, I don't think you're subbed, are you? But I can't see that also. Yes, Luna, you can pass it on. Yes. You can either let me know who you want to pass it on to, or we can just give it to a rando. So,
Give it to a rando, eh?
And what are we going to do with the sub?
can you not pass it on to Vera or Samantha? Yes, you can, Luna. I'll reach out to you separately to find out who you'd like to give it to.
I think maybe Luna can't hear you, and perhaps that's what's happening here.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Okay, cool. We'll come back to this later. But yes, that can be dealt with. So our next round is round 4, and we are on to myths and legends. And first up is Nummy.
Okay. All right. So for myths and legends, the first thing that I thought of to say something about was conspiracy theories, because there's loads of conspiracy theories to do with space, the supposedly faked moon landings, etc., UFOs, sightings and happenings at Roswell and stuff like that. So one of the ones that I really quite liked had to do with one of Saturn's moons. So Saturn has around 80-ish moons in orbit around it. So 53 of them have been identified and named, and then there's another 29 that are waiting to be actually confirmed and named. Now, the largest of Saturn's moons by far is Titan. It is a chonky boy. So the second largest is Rhea, and the third largest, and the moon that we're interested in, is Iapetus. So there is already a meme that you may have seen, which features one of Saturn's moons, and the actual moon in that image is Mimas. And there is a very obvious thing about Mimas that makes it very memeable, and that is that it has an enormous impact crater on its surface. And this is the Herschel crater, which is 80 miles across, and that is about a third of the entire diameter of the moon. So it's a big old crater, and at the outer walls of this crater, it's a depth of about 3 miles. So it's a really very obvious and very visible crater, and it bears a very, very strong resemblance to the kind of inverted dome shape that you can see on the infamous Death Star of Star Wars fame. I would love to show you an image, but unfortunately I can't do that, so you can just Google it. But as we've established, Mimas is not the moon that we're talking about. because we're actually talking about Iapetus. Now, like Mimas, Iapetus also has a very, very large and obvious crater on the surface, and Iapetus's crater is 250 miles wide. But the other thing about Iapetus is that it has a very prominent ridge of mountains that's about 20 kilometers wide that goes almost the entire way around the moon. And it's this kind of ridge, this sort of line around the equator, that makes Iapetus look even more like the Death Star than Mimas does. And it is also what has sparked a theory by conspiracy theorists that Iapetus is actually an object that's been constructed by aliens. So this ridge was first seen in 2004. So on New Year's Eve, Cassini did a flypast of Iapetus, and it took 4 images, which were then put together to form a composite, and you could see the entirety, a sort of a whole side of Iapetus. And the ridge was very, very clearly visible. And so it was this image that got people to start thinking that actually the ridge is indicative of 2 hemispheres having been welded together. And there is a video on YouTube, which is, it goes into a lot of detail about this theory and about other supposed structures on Iapetus that are apparently evidence of alien technology and the fact that it is an alien spacecraft. And some of the comments on that video are quite entertaining. If you have any interest in watching it, then I can share a link in Kirby's Discord. But Iapetus is not, it's not just conspiracy theorists that have kind of taken Iapetus as this vehicle of destruction being controlled by aliens. Because, and of course, I could not do a stream like this and not crowbar in a reference to SCPs, but you may be familiar with the SCP Foundation, which is a collaborative fiction project concerning objects or phenomena which violate natural law and therefore need to be contained. And SCP-736 is anomalies in the orbit of Iapetus. So, and I quote from the wiki, changes in its orbital decay do not occur randomly. Instead, variances have occurred in groups centered around what appears to be a central set of numerical values and a series of calibrations to achieve them. So, the entry then goes on to say that basically the Foundation does some modelling of these changes in the orbit of Iapetus, and what happens in the end is that each of the incremental changes eventually results in Iapetus colliding with Titan, which causes it to be ejected from the Saturnian system, and eventually Titan collides with the Earth, wiping out the entire population. So and it's quite interesting to see the discussion entries on this SCP. The author's intent was that Iapetus is being controlled by a hostile alien force who wants to wipe out all of humanity. So Iapetus is actually like legit. It's a moon that we don't know that much about in terms of explaining why it is like it is. So it's got some unusual properties that we can't explain, that science can't explain at the moment. So as well as this ridge around the equator, which they're not sure how or why that formed, there are some theories. It also has an unusual orbit. So it doesn't orbit in the same plane as the rest of Saturn's major moons. It's actually got an orbital inclination of 15.5 degrees. So everything else is orbiting on this plane, and Iapetus is like this. And they don't know why that happens, or why that would be the case. So could it be that Iapetus has been constructed or its orbit influenced by an alien life form, maybe? I mean, obviously, no. But if you're going to write about a moon and it being weird, then Iapetus is a very good candidate.
That's very cool. Just out of interest, do we know when it was discovered, this moon? Sorry
No.
to put you on the...
No, I don't.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, because like obviously it does...
I can
bear a lot
Google
of
it
parallels.
if you would like me to do that.
Oh, feel free if you want to. But no, I was just wondering if if we discovered it and had pictures of it at a certain point, whether certain media coverage of such a thing might have prompted translation into common things.
It was discovered in 1671.
Cool. So before Star Wars, then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
couple years.
Yeah.
I did Google it whilst you were talking. I mean, it looks a little bit. I probably my brain probably wouldn't have gone there, but because you said Death Star, you're like,
Look,
you
it's
can
got
kind
a
of see
trench
it.
around the equator.
Yeah. But
It's a ridge.
Trench, ridge. You could get a one-man fighter in there. and
Opposite things.
yeah,
A one-man fighter in a trench. Okay.
anything you want to do with that, Lux?
yeah, I was going to
Nothing.
say, come on, Lux.
Okay, fair enough.
No?
The one thing I was going to say, that SCP thing, is really complicated as a plan. So there's things that are deliberately messing with its orbit, so it'll crash into something, so that will then crash. And it's like
Yes, like the beginning of Third Rock from the Sun.
Not sponsored.
I mean, I was
What
going to
should
say
be
it sounds
sponsored?
like a game of Galactic Pool or something.
Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
bit in it's that bit in Red Dwarf where they where Lister plays snooker with planets. Basically. Spoilers for Red Dwarf.
I mean, it also happens in Third Rock from the Sun, so. Excellent. Anyway, great fact.
How many more times can we reference Third Rock, do you think?
Every damn time.
I mean, this has to be the most anyone's talked about it in decades. Like we're going to have French Stewart like DMing us afterwards, thanking us because he heard about it. Like,
There are worse things. Anyway.
yes, we
Next
could
up.
have the plague.
Next up, we have Tex.
Hi, yes, it me. Tex, vote for me. That's my fact. No. So myths and legends. Obviously, myths and legends about the stars have existed pretty much as long as we have written records of humanity. We have myths and legends about the stars. And it is pretty obviously why they exist above us. You know, it's night. You look up, there's stars. Like people like to come up with explanations for things. Now, there's obviously a wide range of things. Some of them more fantastical, some of them more mundane. To my knowledge, I think the ancient Greeks get the prize for the weirdest thoughts when they're looking at the stars. Now, we obviously know our solar system as the Milky Way, and we actually get that name from the ancient Greek myth. And if you're not familiar with this is just going to ruin any ability to look at the stars without thinking that the ancient Greeks were fucking weirdos. As with all ancient Greek myths, it starts with Zeus wanting to fuck a mortal woman. And that is the woman, got the names, Alcmene. So Zeus, being Zeus, decides to disguise himself as her husband, Amphitryon. By the way, I'm just these are how the names are pronounced. That's canon. Zeus disguises himself as Alcmene's husband, Amphitryon, and sleeps with her. Her husband then comes home later, and it's a whole thing. That there's actually a side point to the myth, but I'll try and avoid going into that and digressing. But anyway, so that's classic Zeus sort of thing he does. Cheats on his wife with random mortal women without consent. Shitty guy. He gets this woman pregnant, and the child that's born is Heracles, which is the original Greek myth that you might be more familiar with as the name Hercules. Same person. Now, Heracles was not the parent's child and was also half god. So they tend not to survive so well in mortal world as young children. Now, there's a couple of stories here. We're going to kind of diverge, but they end up at the same point. So we're going to slightly take us down the two paths. So path number one is that this child was then taken back up to the gods At which point, Hera, who's actually Zeus's wife, sees the child, not knowing who the child is, takes the child in and attempts to feed the child, who then bites her nipple way too hard. The other option is that Zeus enlists Hermes' help, and Hermes takes the child to a sleeping Hera and positions child so child can feed from Hera, who then, when she wakes up, tears the child away from her chest. Either way, both of them end up at the same point of Hera tearing a child away from her chest where she was feeding the child, causing her breast milk to splatter out. And that's what the ancient Greeks thought is a valid explanation for why you look up at the sky and there's little white dots. It's Hera's breast milk, and that's where the name Milky Way comes from. Honestly, if you ever think your kinks are weird, just like the ancient Greeks, like what the fuck is up with that?
A lot of.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Why Greek? Not always about titties. Or, well, for Greeks, it wasn't often about titties, frankly. But you know,
But like, there's obviously quite epic stories, and there's quite mundane ones, and then the Greeks are like breast milk. Like, what's going on, Greece? Like, men would rather make stories about a god's breast milk being the stars than go to therapy, I think is the conclusion.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's clear. It's we need to find a black hole, go back in time, yell at the ancient Greeks. Or this could
Drop
be
Elon Musk off in plague times.
No. Bezos goes to plague times.
Oh, sorry.
Elon Musk.
Bezos, yeah.
Where can Elon Musk go? I'll just shoot him in the head. Let's just skip
I mean,
right to the
I was
end.
trying to
send
think
him
about
somewhere,
it.
but just shoot him in the head.
Yeah, just make sure it's done. Don't let a temporal anomaly do what I can do today. Ooh, don't let a temporal anomaly do tomorrow what I could do today. But it's a paradox because the temporal anomaly, you go back into. Ooh.
Good. I was thinking maybe you could find like a battle, like find Hannibal marching on Rome, and the battles that took place, and just drop Musk into the middle of the battlefield.
We'll drop him at the sum, and that'll be it.
Might be a little bit too recent. Too soon.
Wait, for the sum. World War I's too recent.
I mean, you could probably still do analysis on someone from. Anyway, it doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
compared to ancient Rome, like
time murders aside. Did we have anything else on Texas fact?
What was Texas fact again?
Ancient Greeks are fucked up.
I'm kidding.
And I think we still have another fact this round, which is yeah.
See, now here's a fun thing. I'm thinking about possibly calling an audible, but I don't want to take anybody's last fact, so I won't. But I felt like calling an audible here because I feel mine, while earth-shattering, isn't necessarily as interesting, but it is more earth-shattering. So I actually want everyone to start with an activity, or at least if you don't have the materials next to a mind activity, just draw an outdoor scene. Just you outside during the day. Paint that picture in your head or write it down, whatever you so wish. I'll give you 10 seconds, and I will just keep talking. And when I stop talking is when you should be done.
10 of our Earth seconds.
10 Lizardian seconds. And if you know what I mean. Uh, but I want you to imagine it where you can, if you can do it in full color, or at least in your head, assign colors to, what you think. If there's people, draw people. Just draw what you think is as a scene as accurate as you can. And I'll give you a few more seconds. And we'll say that's time. So I'm good. It's censored. Oh wait. Okay, most is there, but okay. So Kirby, just on your example there, walk me through what is everything colored? What's your house color? What's your background color? Ground.
The sky is obviously blue. The grass is green. The little man saying "Wylux" is Caucasian. The house is made of red brick and it's got a brown tile roof, and of course the sun is yellow.
Oh wow! It's almost like I compelled you to say that for some reason, because I'm going to guarantee you the majority of y'all would either have drawn a yellow sun or even believe the sun is yellow. But you should be sitting down for this. But it's not. Never has been. We've all been lied to multiple times. Yeah, so just give it a second. I'm going to let it sit. I know it's a lot to digest. Just take it. I know. It's okay.
Damn,
all right.
Big sun.
So, your big sun. Big sun is out to get you.
I've been asked to confirm, though, when we said Lizardians aren't real, that was not a lie. Yeah, no, Lizardians are not real.
But they're not. Anyway,
they're on the other side of the moon with the cheese.
Yes, Lizardian moon. That's what we've established. But yeah, the sun isn't yellow. It's all an illusion. Quite literally, it is all an illusion. Which, when you think about it, kind of makes sense. Because you got to think of the fundamentals of how we just see shit from Earth. Why is the sky blue? It's all to do with light. The sun doesn't emit blue. Well, I mean, it does emit blue light, but it's getting into some nuance we don't need to. But blue-colored light, I'll say. But that's what we see. Why are certain moons a certain way? Why are certain why do those celestial sky objects look different? And it's all just to do with our atmosphere. It's why we get northern lights. All the same stuff. It's not exciting. It's not the legendary fairies dancing in the sky or spirits. No, just Earth garbage and solar shit. Really boring. So I know that's a lot, but yeah, the sun's actually just white, boring old white. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to really ruin a lot of your day, but yeah, it's just a white star doing white star stuff. Pretty white star with problems, which is a reference none of you will get, but if you do, like this. Yeah, that's my earth-shattering myth fact busted joy.
I was going to say I hate to also earth shatter more, but Mars is only the reddish planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because they doctor the photographs to make it look more red.
I mean, that's just marketing, though, isn't it? Like, as a tagline,
Big Mars,
the reddish planet, is a bit.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, better than the original name, which was the radish planet, based on what it grew, and it was just like, no one's gonna. Who cares about radishes?
I mean, I like radishes, but I'm not going to a whole planet just devoted to radishes.
I don't want a planet made of one.
No, because it starts to smell like radish, and it's not a bad smell, but a planet of radish?
Yeah,
no one needs that.
Look, Radish Planet is a half-day
journey to the Radish Planet.
Journey to the Radish Planet. Oh, God. Oh, what if there were planets like that, just made out of certain materials?
They
okay.
Are called planets.
Stop it. No, that's not what I meant, you ass. Hold on. Where's my "fuck you, Kirby" post-it note? Anyway, I think I threw it away.
As in like a specific food, like an orange.
Yeah. There it is. On ho.
Oh no.
On ho. Like if you could have a planet made out of raclette cheese.
Camembert, yeah.
I think so. I mean, my
I just want melted cheese.
where my brain went to when you were saying that is I'm imagining just a giant chocolate orange planet. That as soon as like
Ooh.
an
Just
asteroid
on the
hits
top.
it,
Terra's chocolate
It would
planet.
just-
Terra's chocolate planet.
yeah, it would just disintegrate into different segments.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But then one lucky segment would get the middle bit
yes.
as well,
The
Oh.
best part.
and all the other fragments would be like, oh, keep jealous. of
And
that
that's
one.
the segment we use to start the new one, and then we build a colony around that segment, and then it explodes, and then it's life finds a way.
Circle of life. The sphere of life.
There it is. Volumetric dimensions.
Excellent. Okay, so
What are we doing? What is all this?
I had to very quickly pause and make sure. Hang on, have we done everyone fact? I'm paranoid now.
Yes.
So, that was everyone's round 4, myths and legends. Are you going to vote for Nummies? That's no space station. It's a space moon. Will you vote for Texas? Crying over spilled ambrosia. Or will you vote for Lux's lemon-coloured lies?
That's very good. I like lemon-colored lies.
Were you pleased with that one as well, Kirby?
Tell me lies. Tell me lemon-colored lies.
Yeah, so, some of them I can't fit into the poll, so I had to come up with the funny version, and then there's the version that goes in that people will actually know what it means.
You can't fit it into the poll.
Yeah,
What's his name? Anyway.
Steve.
I don't know why that was so funny, but there it is. Here we
Yeah.
are. We've reached that point of the festivities.
Well, don't. I was really having to restrain myself from going on to a complete different tangent about radishes, which is that I think it was in Victorian or Elizabethan times. No, Elizabethan times, definitely not Victorian. Radishing used to be a punishment because they used to be a different shape, and it's
Up
pretty
the
much
ass?
exactly what you think it is.
Up the ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
do not try this at home.
Yeah, it was for like non-pale of taxes and things like that. It was yeah.
I mean,
radishing.
I wouldn't necessarily pay some taxes.
I mean, I think they're quite spicy both when in the mouth and when inserted anywhere else. So I don't think it'd be pleasant.
I mean, there's a whole area of kink around
A whole area.
Oh god.
although with other things rather than radishes, but
I mean, also, I'm just gonna say, Tex, you stormed away with this one. You mentioned titties, and you just got everyone all
this
up in
was
a.
the one fact that I was like, okay, I might win one round because the ancient Greeks are fucking weird. Like, honestly, I just can't get like since I read about this, and it actually partly blew my mind that I just never knew the origins of the name Milky Way, and that's such a common thing. I was like, I genuinely never knew that. And also, who looks up at the night sky at the stars and is like, spilt breast milk?
Well, like I can understand it being milky, like that makes sense. Like you get a milky eye, you get like that's a film, it just has like kind of to it. It's not a hard. Why's it gotta be the titties? Always with the titties. The titties are fine, but like always with the titties with the Greeks. And then a lot with the dicks, but
Well, no, that's what you're saying. Like, as soon as you said that, it occurred to me that I've never heard a myth that would seem to be the other obvious one of like a white substance being spilled across the sky. And I was just like,
spaces.
Yeah.
There is. I was trying to think about it actually because there was a part of me that was like, this could be a better fact for the next round. But anyway, I never got around to being organised. Because there is a creation myth from somewhere in ancient Mesopotamia, I can't remember what it is, that creation was from a god having a wank.
I mean,
and
yeah.
from his semen,
Creates life.
From his semen, he saw men. There it is.
basically. So,
But would that be every time he arrived?
no, it was just one
No, the
time.
other times he
I
used
don't
a
know
sock.
if he only did it once and was like,
Well-
"No, that was a fucking mistake," or if it was like multiverse, like maybe they were just onto multiverse, like string theory.
Well, I'm just thinking if it was an aberration, then technically existence is a disease.
Who's to say it isn't? And
On
with
that
that
note-
cheerful thought, we'll move on to round 5, which is free for all. And first up, we have Tex.
Cool. So, honestly, I mean, I feel like this is my weakest fact, but let's do it anyway. So we've heard a lot about Uranus today, and also the planet. No, sorry, it had to be done. So I think it's time a different planet gets a little bit of spotlight. So let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet. That's the fact.
Amazing. Best fact.
What the fuck?
Jupiter, the planet, is famous for having a red spot, which is. Sorry, was there something you were going to say there, Lux?
No, I'm good. Aces. That's just nothing but a red spot at all. You're telling a fact. What are you talking to me for?
Cool. So it's famously has like a large red spot on it, which is something that has basically always existed for the longest time. We've been able to see anything detailed about Jupiter. Now, if you look at a picture of Jupiter, like it's pretty sizable. It's obviously not covering the whole thing, but as Nami mentioned previously, scale of planets is fucking weird. So that's that red spot that we can see is in total 16,000 kilometers in diameter across, and so that is 1.3. Like the diameter of Earth is I didn't write it down, but it's like 12,000 or something kilometers. So basically, like 1.3 Earths could fit in the width of it. It is also 200 kilometers deep. So if you took all of the water on Earth, you could comfortably fit it in. And I don't know why people are reacting to that. Here's the interesting thing about it, though. We actually don't know much about it, or why it started, where it came from, where did it go, where did it come from? A red spot on Ho. So, but so it's one of those things that we initially just kind of assumed existed for the entire time, but it's actually not. So what it actually is a storm in the atmosphere. It's just some shit weather they've been having for a time on a bit of Jupiter that's been about 350 years. It's relatively recent that they've actually been able to work out how old it is, and it's a storm that's been going for about 350 years. It is a really long, shitty time, and I will not complain about UK weather again.
Yes, you will.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I will.
Oh, I'm glad we got to talk about your spot.
I would also say
What?
it used to be bigger as well. It used to be the size of about 1.8 Earths.
It's what that's what happens when you get older, though. Made it like it's a,
Yeah,
Sorry, like it's a what?
the kiwi fruit.
Oh. That's what I was thinking of too.
It turns out you can eat with the skin on.
You absolutely should. It's delicious.
Kiwi fruit with the skin on is delicious.
Yes. The skin is a lovely little tangy snap of nom 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 nom. And no, it isn't hairy. No, it doesn't get in your teeth.
But it is
no, it's not. If you rinse it off, I swear to God.
I mean,
listen.
if you rinse the hair
Are
off,
we
then
still
it's not
talking
hairy.
about the kiwi?
Maybe.
Oh, very good, Tommy.
Although if we're talking to Kiwi the same way we're talking about the polls, I have someone to apologize to. Oh, it's funny because it's gay.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tex, for that enlightening discussion. Lux.
Yeah, speaking of gay, oh God, I'm deeply, deeply sorry to all of you. Mostly. So my last fact is just a general curiosity I had from a very young child, and when the news was I don't say released because it makes it sound weird, but when we found out, what 10 or 12 years ago or so, it was amazing. So kind of like we've been talking about, we've been talking about the moon, what it would be if it was cheese or raclette. Sorry, but you gotta what would space smell or taste like? Well, you kind of can imagine what it might smell like. I reckon. The astronauts say it kind of smells like burning metal, like a train with its brakes on, which is fine and good, but who needs smell when you can know what the actual everything that we all know and live in tastes like, and especially from Texas last fact, what with them titties. The Milky Way, at the center of the Milky Way, there's a few wonderful things. The biggest wonderful thing is a cloud called Sagittarius B2, which I know is just a, elegant roll off the tongue name, Sagittarius B2. It's what's for dinner, which is an example of anyway. And how we found that cloud, we were actually looking for the building blocks of life itself. And what is one of those compounds? Well, in all of us, it's amino acids. Amino acids make up proteins, blah, 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 et cetera, whatever. So in our search, we found some in the center of the galaxy, in the center of where the titty is, I guess on the nipple, in the galaxy's nipple. We found these amino acids. Unfortunately, for that side of the fence, it wasn't going to work. It wasn't the building blocks of life. But we did find two key components. We found one of the amino acids that actually makes up you'll find the exact name. Not propylcyanide. Glycine. Anyway, a number of science words. Examples. Existed, but the one they found was one that we actually have on Earth that we know about, and it is the one that gives raspberries its flavor. So, fun part A of this: the center of the galaxy tastes like raspberries. That's pretty cool. What's even better is in that same cloud, and actually in a lot more places, it's a big cloud full of booze. It is an ethanol-filled cloud with traces of similar chemical compounds found in rum. So we are basically having a raspberry rum universe. And by universe, I mean galaxy, but let's be honest, it's just us, or is it? That's pretty cool. I'm sorry. That's pretty cool. You can go out to the shop tonight and taste literally what you're made of.
You can't taste the rainbow, but you can taste the center of the universe.
Well, I mean,
When you were saying booze,
Yeah, I chose my
thought-
words poorly.
When you were saying booze, I thought you might be saying a different word that obviously would be connected
oh,
to the Milky Way.
I thought you were going to say cheesecake.
oh, no, it was just good old Rummo and raspberry goodness, and just for fun, I'll what I will do for science, drink delicious rum. But again,
You're so
This stream's
committed.
sponsored by.
yeah, I'm just promo all the time, but that literally could be what the center of our galaxy tastes like.
Like
I'm
a
okay
raspberry
with that.
daiquiri.
I'm disappointed you didn't
Ooh.
crush a raspberry into it.
Well, I mean, then you get the seeds in your teeth. I don't have time for that.
And yet you'll eat a whole kiwi.
Yeah, because there's
It doesn't want to peel it.
no.
Yeah, there's less effort involved.
If it's less effort, you get more nutrients. It's like like peeling a potato. Who peels a potato? Are you a monster?
Only if I'm making roast potatoes. Because they are better peels.
Okay, no. Please move on before Tex and I get into an argument.
Well, with that fact, we come to our last fact of the evening. And it is Nummy Numbers.
Hello, I am she. And my last fact, which is my favourite of my facts, is about the makeup of space. So, gas, dust, bits of matter, right? Yes, but also no, because that is very broadly the makeup of space, but I'm not talking about that kind of makeup. I'm talking about makeup. So, Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space, and she was a Russian cosmonaut who launched aboard Vostok 6 in 1968. But it wasn't until 1978 that NASA had an astronaut class that women were a part of. So, this cohort had in it Sally Ride, who was the first American woman in space, and who you might be aware the protagonist of Mass Effect Andromeda was named after. And another of the astronauts in that cohort was Rhea Seddon. And she has spoken at length on her website, and she's also done a spoken history with NASA about her experience as an astronaut. And she had a lot to say about NASA and what they did to adapt to women joining the space program, because there are a lot of issues that they'd never had to consider before, like what to do about periods. There is a fantastic story where they asked Sally Ride before she went into space, would 100 tampons be the right number for a 7-day mission? And her response was, no, that would not be correct. And also, apparently, they were tying them together like strings of sausages so that they wouldn't all drift off in low gravity. And they also had to solve the problem of what women would do when they were waiting to launch if they needed to pee, because men have a little contraption that would not be suitable for women. So it turned out that adult diapers were the answer to that. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about makeup. So Rhea Seddon explained that as well as these like important sort of logistical issues, NASA also asked the question about whether women in the Space Corps would want makeup when they were in flight, i.e. aboard the space shuttle. Now, as we all know, women or anyone else don't need makeup to be able to do their job, unless they're a beauty model, in which case they absolutely do need makeup. Several of the women in the cohort had absolutely no interest whatsoever in makeup, none at all. But Rhea Seddon, who quite rightly knew that when you're in space, you have a lot of photos taken. Like, they take tons of photos that are all archived. These days, they're all over Instagram if you follow the ISS or NASA or the ESA. There's a whole bunch of photos. They can't move without being photographed and it being all over social media. So obviously this is a little older, but when these photos are taken, they stay with you forever. And Rhea Seddon said that she did not want to blend into the background in those photos. And if I was going into space, I 100% would not want to look like shit in my space photos. And we love choice. And NASA realized that it was an issue of personal choice. And so because of that, the NASA prototype makeup kit was born. So this kit was put together basically by Crew Systems speaking to the astronauts and asking them what types of items they would want and what brands they would want those items from. And basically, a woman from Johnson Space Center went to a department store and did some shopping, and she bought a whole bunch of stuff. So everything that goes into space has to go through a process which is to determine whether or not it's approved to fly. So they call it shake and bake. And what that is essentially it's a series of tests which determine how those products are going to respond in extreme conditions. So it's things like vibration and G-force testing and thermal vacuum testing. So they go through all of these tests, and it's just to check they're not going to melt or make a mess, or if they're going to produce any airborne particulates that are going to affect the safety of the air supply on the shuttle, which is called off-gassing, which I think is a fucking brilliant word. And so once all of those tests were done, the kit was born, and I wish that I could show it to you, but I can't. You will be able to find it if you were to Google it. So Sally Ride tweeted a picture of it in January of 2018, and it is a little yellow. It looks like a little travel toiletry bag with these little pockets in it, and it's got all of the items slotted into the individual compartments, and they each say on them what kind of thing it is. So your mascara, your makeup remover. And when I saw this picture, I'm a big fan of makeup, and I was very excited to see that there is what appears to be a Revlon brand blush in there. But the rest of them, I couldn't see what they were. You can't see because it's obscured by the pockets. And I was very dissatisfied with this. I was not happy not knowing what these items were. So I was trying desperately to Google and see if somewhere had a record of what the individual items were in this prototype makeup kit. And I could not find any specifics, which was really frustrating. But I wasn't going to leave it there because, of course, I wasn't. And in my Googling, I had identified that this prototype makeup kit is actually on display at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, and it is at the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy building, which is in Chantilly, Virginia. And on their website, they have a list of the products, the category of products, but again, it doesn't say what the items are. So I emailed the museum to ask them what specifically is in the kit. And I was thinking, okay, they're going to get this email and they're going to think this is some crazy British woman who wants to know about makeup. Like, there's so many more interesting things in our museum. What is her problem? Let's just ignore it. But that did not happen because, and imagine my excitement, and I was incredibly excited, I got a reply. So the reply came from Dr. Jennifer Lavassa, who is a curator at the museum. And she contacted me and she very kindly informed me of the full contents of the kit, which is as follows. And if you see this picture, it's listed from left to right. 6 cosmetic products. Revlon Fabuliner in black brown, Aziza mascara in brown black, Revlon eye colouring stick, which is in the shade Sky Blue Frost, which is so of its time, I can't even fucking sky blue eyeshadow. Revlon 32nd Eye Makeup Remover, the Revlon Cream Powder Compact in Rose Blush, which is the blush that I had noticed as being Revlon, and it also has a Revlon lip gloss, and that one is colourless. So I got the full list of contents of the kit. The sad thing about this story is that the prototype kit never actually made it into space because the first woman who went into space, Sally Ride, had no interest in there being any makeup, so it didn't go. But makeup did then become a preference item for astronauts, so that it was available to be requested and to be put on board if the astronauts wanted it. And while these specific items weren't necessarily the first makeup in space, they were among the first to be cleared to fly, and they might potentially have been part of a pool of makeup from which the astronauts could select items in the future. I do also want to say that Dr. Lavassa recommended a number of books which related to women in space, which is a really interesting topic. So Integrating Women into the Astronaut Corps by Amy Foster, Right Stuff, Wrong Sex by Mary Viterkamp, which I hope I've pronounced correctly. And then also the autobiographies of Rhea Seddon and Kathy Sullivan. And Dr. Lavassa says that she has heard that they had some rather unique experiences when preparing for missions and having male engineers guess at their needs. So if you want to read something and think, what the actual fuck, why don't you understand anything about women? It sounds like these are the books for you.
You want to know what I'm most upset about? Is that I'm going to clearly vote for you That was fantastic.
That
I'm
was
sorry.
incredible.
Like, I'm gonna call it out for what it is. That's fantastic. I deeply enthralled was and am.
Thank
Like, I
you.
Also,
googled it. It is
was-
great.
Whoever put that kit together, were they sponsored by Revlon or something? Like, was there something in Revlon that meant that like most of their makeup products are suitable for space? Like, I think it was one that you listed that wasn't a Revlon product. There might have been two.
But did they just
Yes,
literally
yeah.
go to a department store and just be like, boop, boom, boop,
It
boop,
was
boop,
just
boom?
one, yeah.
Yeah, like everything else is like what are Revlon
I think
doing?
it-
They're
I guess
making
it
their
was-
makeup suitable
Yeah,
for space
either
travel.
there was some incredible insight by the product formulators at Revlon, or
Steve
it just so
Revlon.
happened that they were using the ingredients that were space. Maybe it's lizard people.
Oh no, but they'd have like Estee Lauder though, because French, But
Of course. I am given to understand. I would like to know what makeup items go into space these days, but I am given to understand that Clinique is now a popular brand for being used in space.
What would you take? I mean, obviously you haven't done tests. Presumably you have done tests on your makeup.
I have not done tests on my makeup, but if all of my makeup passed muster, then I would be taking Charlotte Tilbury and Lisa Eldridge with me into space. In fact, I quite like to just take Lisa Eldridge with me into space because
Just
she's
the
great.
person.
Just
yeah.
the person. Yeah.
I would just bring a lot of lipsticks because they're just fun. That's it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, I obviously know so much about makeup.
Yeah, I know fuck all, which is why I'm saying very quiet. But
Well,
yeah.
Tex, if you wake up, grab a brush,
And put
and
a
you
little
put up on
makeup.
your makeup.
Hide the scars and fade away the shake-up.
There it is. See, we got there. We got there.
Well, that was an excellent fact. Thank you very much, Nami. And I will say, we're going to do the final votes now, but Nami is also going to get a Nami Award for Excellence, because not only did she email the Smithsonian. How many pages was the presentation that you emailed me? Not emailed me, sorry, that makes it sound old. You sent me via Discord.
I don't know how many pages. Will it tell
It's
me
like
on
40
here?
page.
Wait,
page
presentation.
It's 34 pages.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
was sent a 34-page
And
presentation along
the
with
titles
sheet.
of the slides to do with this makeup fact are my favourite part, because one of them is my commitment to this is very high, and another is the best thing that has ever happened. That was the slide about them replying to me.
See, this is why
Can't
you're
argue with that.
no. And this is why you're going to win, is because you actually put in effort and tried.
I was going to say, unfortunately I didn't have the time, but I do want to do like a little pop-up thing that goes Nami Award for Excellence, but unfortunately it will have to come to you in the post. But yes.
As long
very
as
well
it no.
done, and
No.
love the effort
Just
that was
add
put
it
in.
to the pile of Nami Awards for Excellence in Macam and Canadian.
Okay, so
I assume, just off camera, your entire place is just filled with
The
these
rest of the
awards.
house is trophy
Trophies.
cabinets.
Yeah.
This is the only bit that there isn't trophy cabinets.
So, for round 5, free for all, for the votes, are we going to go with Tex's Jupiter's Perfect Storm? Are we going to go with Lux's Alcoholic Sagittarians? Or are we going to go with Nummy's Astronaut Eyeliner, aka NASA Makeup Kit, as well? So, please vote now.
I'd forgotten the Lux's was actually quite a good fact as well.
See, that's the thing. It was a decent fact, but it's no emailing the Smithsonian fact.
No. I mean, I haven't voted this at all, but I've got to vote for nothing.
So it's been 8 seconds, and Nami has 7 votes.
Why have I got one?
A pity? I haven't voted. I haven't voted yet.
That's whoever
So
in the
I'm
chat
not-
didn't know that Jupiter was a planet.
I feel like mine was objectively the worst.
It was.
3 as well.
It was, but I'm still no one's voted for me yet, which is great. Really love how everyone
that's why I'm
is.
confused. Why has mine got a vote and yours hasn't?
This is great. This is super. No. Take that one away. No. Take that one away. That's a pity vote. I don't want no pity vote. Fuck your pity vote.
Oh, that was Mackie.
No.
Mackie's confessed.
No. Take that one back too. Take that one back too. I don't want that one.
Oh no, Lux has got 2 now. Oh no.
I'm gonna report this poll.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Could Lux make it back?
Imagine I come back to win this 11-10.
That would be incredible. Like,
That
I
would
mean,
be
it won't
scary.
just
happen.
alone,
It
you
shouldn't
deserve
happen.
it.
No. Because yours is just more objectively interesting.
Also-
Now I'm mad because I've been to the Smithsonian and I never saw no makeup kit.
Also, because like the contents presumably from your searching are not publicly available, and not because people are trying to hide it, but just because no one's thought to make it publicly available.
That is the thing, and I was wondering, am I the first person other than the museum curator who, because apparently it had been catalogued like prior to Dr.
Yeah,
Leosa being in
but
post.
just
Her
hadn't been-
predecessor had catalogued it, but it doesn't. Like, I couldn't find it on the internet.
So is this
anywhere.
the
Maybe
only
it
place
is.
on the internet that you can find out that fact?
This
Which
is
that in
this
itself is why
exclusive.
Nummy's winning.
It's an
I'm not-
exclusive to your
Yeah.
stream, Kirby.
I'm not gonna lie, I half anticipated you at the end of that to be like, and today's face has been brought to you by the NASA makeup kit.
And I sourced the very products that were used.
Which honestly, if that was the case, I would send you £10. Like, that is
That
That's
would have been
amazing.
absolutely incredible if you'd done your makeup just using things from the NASA.
that would have been. I mean, you could say it now, and what are we gonna do? We gonna go no? It could be.
No, because I'm not wearing sky blue eyeshadow.
Yeah, that's true. And would you have wanted to wear sky blue eyeshadow for the entire
no.
stream just for that moment at the
I'm
end?
very committed, but I am not that committed.
I mean, like it would have been an incredible moment, but also
I mean,
you didn't need it.
No, it's a good reveal, but you don't need a reveal on a reveal. You're all right.
It's comfortably one as it is.
Whatever. At least Tex and I are both in the bottom. What?
And on that note, I can announce that the winner of A Matter of Fact Space Edition is Nummy Numbers with 3 points and a Nummy Award for Excellence. Hey!
Thank you. Thank you for voting for me.
Well done.
Thank you.
I can also announce that the final prize draw winner is Awesome Fox 42.
Wait.
So we do also have another gift sub to give away. So we haven't had enough donations to do so. So that will just go to a random member of presumably this stream. So I'm going to do just a random giveaway, and we shall give it to someone who is not subbed to the stream but who has watched. So look out for that. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching along. And thank you very much to my lovely guests and special friends. We have, of course, the unique luxury gay space communist.
Unique. That's what I
wanted
get.
to come up with a word.
get
I couldn't think of one.
Unique.
Cool.
Cool.
Fucking hell.
Cool.
The inimitable
Unique.
luxury gay
No.
space.
It's unique.
Okay.
But that's what it is. But it's been lovely. Thank you.
Homophobia, that's what it is.
I'll never be back, you rat bastard.
Thanks, Lugs. And of course, we have also had Tex, who has also been here.
Wow.
I know, I'm sorry. I just can't do words tonight, apparently.
I've taken it out of you, haven't I?
Lux not on stream.
Hey.
Anyway,
Say goodnight, Tex.
Tex, please say goodnight.
No, fuck you, Kirby.
Thank you. And
We've
of
had
course-
homophobia, we've had biphobia, we're going to get nummyphobia next.
And of course, we have the best mod in the world and the winner of tonight's game, Nummy Numbers.
Wow.
Thank you. But I feel because of peer pressure, like I have to tell you I hate you, and you can.
Oh, that's totally fine. So, should
Right
you wish
here.
to watch...
Right here, Kirby. Right here.
I mean, yeah, as Samantha points out, you're unique is sounding a lot better in context now, isn't it?
It's true. Oh, fuck.
So, if you would like to follow these people on Twitch, there are links going up in the chat as we speak. So go. Just checking. Yep.
No, sorry. I could just think of the text plugged controversy.
I've forgotten about that.
There it is.
Okay, yes, these are all good people. Thank you all very much for watching tonight. We will be back at some point in the future with another episode of A Matter of Fact. But in the meantime, be very good to each other. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you all another time.
Hey, lizard people.